To even be put in the same sentence as the great Stan Lee is quite an incredible thing.
Somebody found that comic book later and it turned into a collector's item.
Yes, it's now worth millions of dollars.
That's right.
There is no art without pain. Everybody's terrified of AI destroying the world. What an incredible man, incredible human being, incredible artist, and what a beautiful heart.
Hello, true believers. Today we're stepping into a different universe, one filled with quests, power-ups, boss battles, and unforgettable characters. Video games have become one of the most powerful storytelling mediums on the planet, and while Stan Lee may be known for comic books, many of the lessons he taught, creators use to continue to shape the gaming industry today. To help us explore that world, we're joined by one of the most beloved voices in entertainment history. For over 3 decades, our guest brought to life one of the most recognizable characters in human history. As the voice of Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and countless other beloved characters, he helped create memories for generations of gamers around the world. His passion, positivity, and belief in character-driven storytelling perfectly align with the values Stan Lee championed throughout his career. Please welcome the legendary Charles Martinet.
Is that me?
That's you.
That's you.
You're so nice. Hello, it's me, Super Mario.
Oh, that's fantastic.
What's up, Charles? Hey.
Hey, look, I got my new a baseball card there. Look, you see, that's me. That's how I know it's me, because my thumbs are up.
Oh, you're
And
fancy.
these are the guys I did. It's like, Super Mario and Luigi too. Ho ho, mamma mia. And you have a rockin' day. Yahoo. And baby Mario. What about me?
And that,
Just to introduce myself.
and that is why we love Charles.
Best introduction.
Collectors things. It's great. You know, can I tell you the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Stan Lee?
Absolutely.
It's I remember we bought every comic book. I was a child of the 1960s, born in 55. We bought every comic book. And I Spider-Man and X-Men and my favorite, of course, was Thor. I thought, there's my T-Hammer, that this is the greatest comic. This is reality right there. It's the real true hero. And I remember, this is like an embarrassing story, but it's not really, because it's like, 9 years old, and you buy your Mighty Hammer, and my grandmother, I was staying with my grandmother. She goes, well, honey, you can go across the street to the Rexall and buy yourself a comic book. I'm like, yoo-hoo, treasure. Like, this is like the ultimate treasure. And I bring it back, and I get the thing, and I get Spider-Man, I get Thor, of course, and I go back, and I sit down on her Chesterfield, which is a old style word for couch. I put my comic on the back, and it fell down behind the thing. And I said,
no.
Nana, my comic book! She goes, oh, honey, I'm sorry, we can't get that. I have chemical stuff down there. We have to leave it.
That's a sad day.
No.
Oh, no.
My comic book. And I was sobbing and sulking around that house, little manipulator that I was, until she said, all right, here's another quarter, go buy.
That is so
And
funny.
then somebody found that comic book later and it turned into a collector's item.
Yes, it's now worth millions of
Right?
dollars.
That's right.
Right, with a little bit of chemical powder on it. I don't know,
That added to
there
the
it is.
value.
I just
It turns
I
them
just
into a
remember-
superhero.
Yeah, I just remember loving those comic books, and you couldn't wait to bicycle down to the local store and pick them up, pick up one, and after reading, of course, through all of them, all right, kids, buy something or get out, So we bought our comic book. It's just incredible, really, really amazing.
That's insane. Listen, Charles, just to make sure you're familiar with everybody, obviously, you know me. I'm Brimstone. There's Kim
Hey,
over
Brimstone.
here.
Hey, hey.
Mr. Greer.
Hello, hello.
Hazel
Adria.
Aviva,
Hi.
and Dana Pereira.
Hi.
Well, you are acquainted with all now, my
With
friend.
the crew.
The whole
Yay,
gang.
hi crew. It's a real pleasure to be here. What an honor and what a joy. To even be put in the same sentence as the great Stanley is quite an incredible thing. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And it's what a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for being here, Charles. I know you're busy.
Yeah.
I know you're exhausted, and the time difference is ridiculous. So thank you for bearing with us.
And we love to see your
betcha.
face.
You know, there are more than 1,000 cheeses in France, and I intend on trying every one of them.
And I'm sure you will,
Please.
and you'll tell me about every single one.
Doing the Lord's work.
So before Mario, before Nintendo, before global fame, what inspired you to become a performer?
You know, I was deceived into becoming a performer. I was at UC Berkeley. I was going to go into law school or write a thesis on the nature of man, you know, the nature of humanity. And I went for my final year and I got everything, the favorite TA in the world, great TA, he'd given me great marks. And I go to the first class and it's full of people. And he goes, "Oh, sorry, man, I can't get you into this class. You're going to have to take a quarter off. Yeah, it's just over full. I can't do anything." And so I did the adult thing. I quit. I just
There we go.
walked out the
All right.
door, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, well, why take off the whole year? Just come and take an acting class from me." And I said, "Ha ha ha ha, Les, there's no way I could ever take an acting class. I am far too shy. I would never be able to stand in front of people and talk." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go have lunch every day before the class, and then we can go to where they're learning how to become future Michelin-starred chefs, and then we'll just eat lunch." I said, "Lunch?" So he hooked me into doing this, and then it's like, okay, you don't have to learn anything. Just enjoy the class. So I'm like having the time of my life. I'm putting on some pounds, and all of a sudden we're doing a monologue. And he goes, "Well, Charles, you're up." And of course, I learned the monologue. And I was shaking I was like, "Oh." I got up there and I did my monologue. And I'm convinced people were hearing, and nothing of the script. And people went, "Wow, that was great. How is it possible you weren't nervous?" I said, "What?" And sure enough, that sort of started me going like, okay, in that case, I'll do some more of this, doing scene work and things. And then I auditioned for the school play. Let me see, it was Midsummer Night's Dream. And I was going to go and be Oberon, the king of the fairies, and not the queen, the king of the fairies. And I went and I auditioned with all these other people. And I was the best, I thought. And I called Les up. I said, "Les, I think I got this part. I was really good." He goes, "Don't count your chickens before they hatch." And I'm like, no, I was really good. He says, so I went to the next day, to the casting board, da, 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 da. And you go in there, thanks to the Academy. I looked on the casting board and it's like, "Oberon, not you. What about one of the letters? Not you. What about, every single thing said, not you." And that, now I couldn't even change the furniture. And that inspired me to become an actor. Failing is the great thing that made me want to become an actor. So I studied, we did speech tournaments, we won the states and national championships. And then Berkeley Repertory Theater came along and auditioned for an apprenticeship program. And I right at the time of all that stuff, and I went in there and all the cast of that play was there and they all auditioned. And so did I. And I got the part. So I started that. Then I went to the drama school, the Drama Studio of London, a great school. Peter Layton created the course and the framework for it. It was just a fantastic year of training. Came back to Berkeley Rep, started San Jose Rep, started doing all kinds of theater. And then I just thought, I'm living in a basement and making great money, $200 a week. I got to try something else. Failed miserably in business. And a guy calls me and goes, "Hey, do you want to audition for a corporate video?" I said, "What's a corporate video?" "It's a video that's corporate." "What do I do?" "You act." "Okay, I'll do it." So I went and I did the corporate video and I made as much money in a like a half a day as working a whole week as an actor in the theater. I said, I'm an actor, yay!
Those
You
are
want to hear
great.
more? Then when I did this commercial, and this guy says to me, "Oh, well, that's great. I was from 4 o'clock in the morning. I drove until like 4 o'clock in the evening. We finally finished." He goes, "It was all MOS, no sound." And he said, "Well, do you do voiceover?" And I said, "Sure." And I think at the tender age of 30, I had not yet discovered what a voiceover really was. I thought Fred Flintstone was real. I thought that's what they looked like, And so he hands me the script and I read, Orchard Supply Hardware, the right item at the right price right now. And he goes, great, here's another fee, which was equal to my 12-hour fee. And it was done in about 5 minutes. And I said, I think I quote, I'm a voice actor.
That's a great story. Great story, Charles.
I'm sorry it's so long. I know we only have 30 minutes. But, from that doing voiceover, I did 1,000 commercials, 500, 600 corporate videos. And then I'm sitting on the beach doing what actors do, waiting for my pager to go off. I was like one of the actors, like, I'll get a pager just like a doctor. And I pager went off. I'm like, oh, it's my friend. I guess it's time for dinner. And I went off the beach, got on the phone call. I said, hey, what's going on? And he goes, you got to go crash this audition. I said, there's no way I would ever crash an audition. I'm a professional actor. I could be human. Where do I go? No idea why, but I went and I crashed this audition, and it was for the great Mario, who had never had a voice before, except Lou Albano, who had licensed the product and had it on TV. And I went there and I thought, hey, Italian plumber from Brooklyn, how you doing, And I thought, no, don't do that, because what if they're kids? And that was the beginning of a more gentle and more light hey, it's me, Mario. And I talked until the tape ran out. So that's what I think got me the job, is I was the only actor who never shut up, which I thought we all did that, But, that started. And then I had this beautiful blank slate of 5 years of improvisation, of talking as Mario to people as they walk by in a real-time animation system with a hidden camera, hidden microphone, and I developed the character. But then when I started doing little games like Mario Teaches Typing, and when Nintendo sent me a SNES, and playing, it was like I had this beautiful blank slate of what personality traits do I want to put in there. And it's like, to me, Mario, like a lot of the Stan Lee characters, is an everyman, but he happens to fall in love with a princess. And his superpower is his loyalty, his trustworthiness, his faithfulness, his optimism and enthusiasm and joy. And I thought, put all that in there all the time, always respectful. And I was so lucky to do Mario Teaches Typing. And the part of the script was, you failed. You have to go back to the beginning and do better. Otherwise, you'll fail again, kind of script. And I'm like, oh, but these are little babies I'm talking to. Can I try something different? He goes, yeah, sure, go ahead, try something different. I said, that was great, but I know you can do even better. Let's go again. Yippee! And that taught me, really, this is who I want. This is a contribution. The small contribution that I can make to the game is the personality of joy and love and respectfulness and optimism, enthusiasm, that I hope made a difference in people's world.
Absolutely. And that's a great segue into our segment, Stan's Soapbox, which we're going to start off with a quote. I'm going to read the quote this time. I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer. Then I realized entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. Now, I want to kind of discuss that. How characters inspire people. Since you just mentioned that, Tom, do you want to take that first? How characters inspire people?
I think mostly characters inspire people when you can kind of relate to some of them. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like for me, it's Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is one of those characters where I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but Spider-Man was my favorite superhero because he was like a timid, kind of shy, but person that wanted to be more than that, be more than a hero, and plus he's a Mets fan from Queens, so that was really easy for me to just meld with. And I think that's the thing. Like when you can connect with a hero or a character, that makes it the one that becomes like your favorite. That's the one that I vibe with the most,
Absolutely. In terms of entertainment, Charles, what do you think entertainment's role in society is?
Well, the character being the hero inspires us all to be more. And I think that that's a big part of certain aspects of entertainment, particularly in the comic book realm, in the comic book film, and the video game thing. They inspire people to be more, to do more, to just have fun, to let go, to release, to be in the moment, And I think one of the greatest, compliments that I ever get, and it's not to me, but it just makes me feel young again. I always, I played with my granddad, and now I'm playing with my son, and it's just, or my daughter, and it just makes me so happy to be relinked to my childhood, to the joy, the happiness, the fun. And I hear this in great joy, and I hear this in sadness of loss too, because when you play with somebody that you love, and then you lose that person, that memory or that entertainment aspect can bring back to you that feeling of joy and happiness. So it's a link to that which makes us great, that which makes us better, that which we aspire to, and that which brings us memory and joy. And I think entertainment is absolutely a human necessity,
Absolutely.
like air.
Absolutely.
Said it perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's always so eloquent about it all
He's-
as well.
I mean, he's Charles.
He's Charles.
He's Charles.
Away with
Right.
words.
So, Dana, what creates emotional attachment with a character? What do you feel?
Well, I think what Tom said earlier, you find it relatable, and that is what creates the emotional attachment to a character. And I find a lot of Marvel characters with their imperfections is actually what helped me connect with some of them, because I love the idea of aspiring to be really, really great. And I also love the idea that there are flaws and you're not expected to be perfect all the time.
Absolutely. Great answer.
That's Hamlet too, isn't it? And that's Lear. These incredibly, like, they're bigger than life people, but they have their flaws, and those flaws can sometimes be fatal in tragedy, or it can be something that you learn and grow and develop and step out of into your superpower to overcome. It's
Absolutely.
just great.
Hmm.
So, Kim,
Yeah.
what makes a character memorable?
To be honest, I think people connect with characters because, like we always said, that they're memorable. But what makes them memorable is the memories that you share with other people.
Oh,
Whether
fair
you're
enough.
going out to a movie, whether you're seeing a show, whether you're playing a video game, whatever it is. I mean, like we've been talking about with connecting with everybody, I think it's the memories with other people that allow you to remember the other
Mhm.
character. And that's why people connect with them.
Very good.
Yeah.
In terms of personality, how does personality shape fandom? What do you think, Charles?
That's a really good question. I think it's like touching the common thread, touching that humanity, the character with his flaws, with his strengths, and touching the inspirational, touching the, oh, I'm shy too. People relate to Luigi or to, these people who are, oh gosh, I'm really shy, but I'm going to overcome it. We relate to characters that are flawed, that are dreamers and visionaries, and get pulled up even by just life circumstances, and then show up. I really believe that life is kind of like a video game or a comic adventure. You go through your life facing these challenges and dings that knock you down and you pick up and go along, and you try to get better, and you try to gain the weapons of wisdom and knowledge and hard work and what you earn and what you develop. And in the end, we're all the hero of our comic book, of our video games. I mean, we can't all be Mets fans, but
Wow.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
And we're not.
Throwing shade.
I have one last question for before I move on for Hazel. This is going to be interesting because you are the Stanley aficionado.
Oh gosh, no pressure.
But now I want to see how well versed you are with Mario and Luigi. I just want you to compare Mario and Spider-Man.
That is so tough because I don't play video games.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
I
Oh,
love the
no.
honesty.
I do. I do think that Spider-Man, like we were talking about, has all of these relatable qualities, and I do see that a little bit in Mario as well. Stan, he created characters like Spider-Man, like Fantastic Four, these groups of characters that people could relate to, and also people could see themselves in. And so, Spider-Man was in the right place at the right time. Or maybe the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. But he was just a regular guy that kind of had superpowers. And I feel like with Mario, it's kind of like he's a plumber. He's a just kind of random dude that has some interesting tools and interesting skills and interesting personality. And he could be, he could be any one of us. And I think that's the parallel that I see.
Absolutely.
They also both wear red. So
Yes.
there's another-
That
There you
is
go.
also
They do both wear red.
red and blue seem to be a theme
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah, red and blue seems like a good
Is
theme.
that the primary colors, right?
Yeah.
You can have a little white in there too somewhere.
Well,
A little
actually, one
bit.
of the reasons for that was because of the access to ink that they had at the time when printing comic books. It was cheaper and more affordable to use just the primary colors.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of the times why the Incredible Hulk actually was supposed to be gray, but there was a printing malfunction and he came out as green. And now that's what we know of as today. So
I
How
love
fun.
that.
That's
Never
incredible.
learned
wanted
so
any
much in the
other
show.
way.
Absolutely
I have
not.
so many random tidbits.
We love the
Yeah.
random tidbits.
So Charles, in terms of, we know how Stan and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, everybody that Dana did a lot of studying on. We know how they
As
brought
she should.
characters to life.
Yeah.
Charles, how do you bring characters to life?
I'm a huge believer. I just yesterday went to the Louvre and went to the Rodin exhibit. Artists that create like Picasso, that create through the excruciating agony and pain. The Dark Lady of the Sonnets, if you will, the love that can't be found, the pain that the artist had. I listened to an artist who said, there is no art without pain. And I thought, on the other hand, it can be done through joy. You can create that, and that's how I do it. It's like, where's the joy? Where's the fun? Where's the enjoyment? Even the little Waluigi, he loves being naughty. It's like, where's the joy? Where's the fun? And yes, you can have the tortured soul, but it's like, what do you get from it? And so I'm always looking for what the character gets, what can be joyful and fun, what can be relatable. I try to take a meta picture as well as an inner picture. It's not just, well, I got a big jaw and ain't beady little eyes, so I make the voice. But how does that character interact in the world to touch the people in that world, and always hoping that I can figure out how to touch people outside that little world too.
Fantastic. Very, 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 very cool. Now I wanted to see one last thing because we're coming close to the end of the show.
No.
Yeah, I know. It goes by so
Already.
quick.
I know.
Goes by so quick.
No.
Who's your favorite Marvel character? Charles?
Me?
Yes.
You.
Oh, with his mighty hammer.
You kind of look like him, though.
Don't I?
You
Every
do.
time
I see it. The
kind of a
muscles.
lot.
Every time you
There's
long
flex,
hair.
Similar.
it's all
We
Thor.
both like flowers.
Charles is a vibe today. He's got like this
I
cool
can
hat
put this
on.
face up and no one else can.
What do you think if Stan were still with us today? One, do you think he'd be creating video games? And what kind of games do you think he'd be creating?
Oh boy, I don't know, but I would sure love to see video games that he would create. I would be jumping at the opportunity to play a Spider-Man game, to play a Thor game, to play a Captain America game. Oh my goodness, what a bunch of fun! Because the level of adventure and imagination, because that's something I didn't talk about before, but it inspires your imagination to step so far beyond what you would normally see. And it's just that character, like Mario, like Luigi, like Spider-Man, they will take your imagination and you finish playing, but you're still going, you're still working, you're still creating from the imagery and the ideas that you face. I would love to. They would be adventurous. They would be fun. They would be, again, that everyman that you can relate to, like we can all relate to every one of those characters, and to Hamlet, and to Lear, and to the other characters that are like us and more. In so many different ways, or hyper like us, that we want to be like, that we want to explore and have fun with. Gosh, and I wish I'm not a fan of this death thing. I'm 7 years old, getting closer to that sort of edge. I'm not a fan of that. I think Stan should be here. He should be creating, and I think all of us would be grateful for that. I mean, what an incredible man, incredible human being, incredible artist, and what a beautiful heart.
Absolutely. I have another question for you. In terms of, I guess you'd say the future of entertainment. Where do you feel the future of entertainment is going?
That's a really great question, Brimstone, because everybody's terrified of AI destroying the world, and I just don't know. Right now you can sure tell every time there's an AI video, usually. But
That's the scary part.
And they cracked in that little bit, that makes you a little bit nervous about, because I remember during the actors' strike, a writer friend of mine in advertising, it was a commercial strike rather, in 2001. They simply went up to Canada to hire actors up there, and we're sitting there going, wait a minute, we're trying to strike, we're trying to negotiate. Just, look, I got a project, I'm going to go do it where it's like half the price, and I'm going to go do, and I wait, no, this is America, this is where we do. When you tell people you got to create something, they look for the cheapest way, and that scares me a lot. The way anything that has the potential of taking away people's livelihood does. And when it comes to creativity, what kind of boxes are we going to be in when one faction decides, well, this is the news that we should all be watching, we don't want to have controversy, this is the entertainment we should be doing, this is the newspapers we should be reading? It's a little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it very much. But it's also inspiring in that, people demand creativity, and creativity is organic, and it's real, and it comes from joy and love and happiness, and from suffering. And you can't AI that. You can't, you can create a ballet dancing machine, but you can't watch a ballet and start sobbing because of the absolute human beauty of what they're doing.
Yes.
And so it behooves us all to maintain our humanity, to maintain our sensitivity, to take this and put it down sometimes, so that we're focused on each other. We're focused on ourselves as friends, families, parents, children, grandparents, and remember the joy and the tenderness and that love, and stay connected, because that's what we're here for, isn't it? Connection.
Absolutely.
100%.
Well said.
That's a great way to finish up this episode, Charles. It's been an honor and a privilege having you. Love you so much. I appreciate you being here for us. I know, like I said, the time difference is crazy. But thank you so much for joining us. That's gonna do it for our episode today, guys. Thank you, Hazel, Dana, Kim, Tom, obviously our good friend Charles Martinet. Most importantly, thank you for becoming part of this family, guys. As Stan reminded us, with great power comes great responsibility. We sincerely hope we're doing Stan's legacy justice, creating something worthy of the generation of fans who continue to be inspired by his work. We want your feedback, your memories, your questions, your ideas. All right, so make sure you're hitting us up and getting your voice into the discussion by visiting us on Instagram at The Grindhouse Radio and at The Real Stan Lee. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Tell us, who you'd like us to talk to. And this isn't just our show, it's our community. So once you're here with us, your family, and until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Thank you so much.